Welcome to the Wild Type Podcast. I'm Lyssa Lizards.
I'm Neptune Chameleon. And we're your reptile girlies.
Well,
remember when we said we weren't okay?
We're still not great.
It's been a week later and we're still not good.
Still not great, fam. It's been a hell of a 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie.
I couldn't even find my notebook.
Which you're pretty meticulous about your notebook.
I have no idea where it was. I was supposed to lead today's episode and I was like, I don't even know where my notebook is. So
this also might be one of the episodes that I would say like we might be like winging more than some of our past
absolutely
ones.
We are. Absolutely we are. Which I feel like will be very entertaining for all of you guys.
Yeah.
Because it won't be as like crisp and structured as our past episodes.
We have little to no structure. We picked a topic that we know we can speak on.
Yes. We have our segments.
Yes.
We have our topics. That's about it, though. We're just figuring it out.
This is as much organization as you guys are going to get from us today.
No, so just to keep you up to speed of like what's happened since, 7 days ago.
The insanity of our lives in the last week.
So we had a storm roll through, and I had a 400-pound tree branch land on my roof, puncturing a hole, and I just had the roof guy come out, and he's like, yeah, you're probably going to have to file a claim, and he had like patch it up and whatever. And so I'm like, oh goody. The same day that happened, I fell into my pool because I was trying to clean all the leaves and sticks and everything. Never have I ever fallen into my pool. Happened to be the same day. Yes. And on that exact same day, one of the dogs I was dog sitting locked me out of the house.
So I get a phone call. Ring, ring. Hey, do you still have that spare key?
Literally. I was like, SOS, please come save me. I am literally locked out of my house.
Soaking wet, mind you, because she had just fallen in the pool. After
having spent 6 hours getting tree debris and everything, like, out of my yard with no service, like, no internet.
No. And the storm also obviously rolled through. You know, we live very close. But for me, the worst that happened was 2 of my plant pots got like destroyed and flung all over.
You still had power, like
I know. That's the only reason we have the podcast right now is because I still have power.
So that was my thing. But then you also had stuff go down too. But yours was car stuff.
Logan, my husband, got his wallet stolen from him on Bourbon Street on a bachelor trip.
Yep.
Which was awesome. I woke up to 17 text messages and 4 phone calls, and he had been at the police station reporting it at 4 a.m.
And then you have to fly back without an ID, which I've done that before, and that just is like...
He's like so lucky he got on the plane. Like, so lucky he got on the plane. So that was super fun. And then I was also out of town that same weekend for a different wedding. And I drove all over 2 different states and literally was in my car for probably like 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
I was going from one state to our state to another. It was like
all over the place.
Insane.
Yeah.
And at some point on that journey, my gas tank just like popped a hole. It was great. So I pull into my driveway and poor Logan, who's like been robbed,
literally
comes outside to like help me unpack the car and looks at me and is like, why does it smell like gas? And I was like, I don't know. I like got gas. Some of it might have gotten on the tire. I don't know.
Right. Because
like,
you've been inside the car the whole time.
I've been inside the car. Like, what are you talking about? And the gas tank was leaking. So that was super awesome.
Which is how much to fix?
It was a $3,000 quote.
So if you want to subscribe for early access to the podcast or buy some merch,
we appreciate any and all support.
We have to pay a couple grand to get our roof fixed and a couple grand to get our car fixed.
And then our other car, or the other car that is my car that's like 10 years old, is a piece of junk that we like are really needing to sell by the end of the year. And that car, Logan goes to go and get the registration because I let the registration go out for 3 years.
Which is a whole other thing. We need to skip over that. That's the least of your concerns.
Pretend I didn't tell you that. So he went to go and get that. And while he's doing that, the trigger on the gear shift falls out.
Yeah. The thing that you, kind of need to drive the car.
He literally couldn't put it in park.
That's terrifying.
It was super fun. So then we went from very quickly having one really good car to one not so great car to having no cars in a matter of 48 hours.
After having lost the wallet and everything else.
And having to replace all of our credit cards, all of his ID, his health insurance cards.
Literally everything.
Everything.
So if you ask us how we're doing, that's how we're doing. And if we seem a little flustered, that's...
Yeah. If this is like one of our most unhinged episodes, like, I'm sorry, but...
That's what we're dealing with.
But I'm not sorry, because...
But the good news is we both have cute nails.
So we do have very cute nails right now, guys. It's the only thing getting us through.
Take the wins where you can get them. But today we do have a very, I think, important episode. It's very educational topic. Mm-hmm. We're talking about quarantining your reptiles. Yes. And I feel like quarantining is like one of those words that gets like thrown around.
Well, it's funny because obviously we all went through a pandemic 4 years ago. And
this is true, yes.
So it's like, obviously we all know what the word quarantine means for humans.
But in the context of reptiles, how do you do it? Why do you do it? Mm-hmm. How long do you need to do it?
What's the point?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of it.
Is it necessary if you only have one reptile? Like, there's all these questions.
Yes, all the nuances.
So we'll get into the nitty gritty. It'll be less organized, but we're here for it.
We'll cover the basis, though.
Yeah.
I mean, benefits of quarantine. Like, why do people live in quarantine in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. And the main reason for that is the same reason that you would hopefully quarantine, like, a new puppy or anything like that. Like, you're not just gonna, like, for example, we found my dog, right? If I had had another dog, I would have kept those two dogs separate until we had taken the new dog to the vet to get checked for parasites, heartworms, all these things. So, like, all those things are really important for reptiles, too, because there are also crazy amounts of really dangerous parasites they can have. They can have mites that can spread to your home. All these other things. So first off,
preventing contamination.
Yes.
Right.
Preventing contamination to any of your existing pets, but also say you're getting one new reptile and you don't have other reptiles, you still should quarantine it. And the reason being is that the other main purpose of quarantine is to ensure that that animal is healthy.
Absolutely. Yep. That was the other one I was going to talk about. Yeah. Those are the two big things. And the way you can do that with quarantine is you can make sure that they're eating their food, pooping, shedding regularly. That can be a little challenging to do in a fully bioactive setup, in a full of live plants and everything else. Like, how do you find a poop in there? Are they even pooping?
Yeah.
If you're just tossing bugs in there, how do you know if they're even eating? Shed is a little easier to kind of monitor, even in like a fully set up enclosure. Yeah. But some species are better for quarantining than others, and there's different ways to quarantine depending on, like, I feel like snakes are very easy to quarantine. I feel like geckos are very easy to quarantine. So maybe we can start there, and then we can work our way into like the trickier species.
The other main thing with quarantine, so obviously there's two main reasons you quarantine. You quarantine to prevent any contamination, and you quarantine to ensure health. So those are the two main things. However, there's also the general term of quarantine that essentially means a sterile environment, which is what you were talking about of like, you don't want to put substrate in there because you can't find the poops, you can't do all this stuff. So when you bring in a new animal, you want it to be the most simplistic setup you can. And that breaks our little reptile parent hearts.
Yep.
Because all we want to do is have a really cool enclosure with all the...
Because you spent so much time and money setting this beautiful enclosure up. Yeah.
Right. So you want to put it in the bioactive enclosure and get all excited and do all those things, but you gotta wait. Sorry. You gotta wait. It's hard. It's a really hard time period, but you gotta get through it. And the main reason for that is because you won't be able to keep track of everything if it's not in a very sterile environment.
Also, if the animal is showing signs of illness or decline, if it's a sterile environment, then you know it is unlikely the environment that's causing the unusual behavior. It is most likely something going on with internally with the animal. Yeah. Versus if it was, fully decked out.
Totally.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we say sterile environment, typically, and everybody's quarantine process might look a little bit different. Like, we're not going to say there's only one way to do anything, because there's never only one way in any form of reptile keeping. But basically what it should consist of is paper towels, because that is the easiest, cheapest, most simple,
and easy
sanitary.
To keep clean, because they're easy to swap out and find poops on.
Yes.
Everything
and
else.
if there is, God forbid, a mite or something, you can spot it really quickly. So use paper towels. I like to use, depending on, so I know we were talking about different species for geckos. So I've done a couple different quarantine setups for like my African fat-tail gecko, Nessie, and Charlie, my leopard gecko. And what I usually do for them, obviously it all varies by species, but I'll get like a really big tub and either depending on how long the quarantine is going to be, you can set up overhead heating and UVB on top of a tub, but you're going to have to kind of like rig it a certain way and things like that. But the most simplistic way of doing it would be just a big tub, a heat mat underneath set on a thermostat with paper towels. And then I like to use for geckos, I like to use plastic Tupperware from literally just like the dollar store.
For their
like,
hides and
For
stuff?
their hides. And all you have to do is like cut little holes out of them to give them the hides. And then I would recommend kind of burning it with a lighter to make sure the edges are not sharp.
Yep, melt the edges.
Yeah. And then obviously you can still put like decorative things in there to make them feel secure, because that's obviously really important too.
But probably something like fake leaves, right? So you're not bringing any potential foreign contaminants into the space that, again, could, cause issues.
Any kind of like fake plants or branches, things like that, you could definitely put that stuff in there as long as it's not kind of like impairing your view of the situation.
Yeah, and I feel like you end up doing similar setups for your snake quarantines as well.
100%.
It's a little bigger.
Pretty much the exact same, just bigger and bigger hides, obviously. But, again, depends on the size of the snake. If the snake's a little tiny, it'll be a little tiny. But
no, a big thing that people ask is like how long to quarantine for, and this is where it gets variable of
sticky,
like some people have different opinions. I think a lot of it is the circumstances of like where you got the animal from. If you got them from a reputable breeder that regularly tests their animals for fecal tests and whatever, the likelihood of your animal having something wrong with it or like something that could be passed on to the rest of your animals, very slim. Not zero, but very slim. Versus quarantining a wild caught animal, right? That's a very different process. And if you're doing medications for the animal and like how they, respond to that, and like if they're not eating very well or whatever the circumstances may be. So let's just start with probably the most common scenario where like you bought them from a good breeder, they look like a healthy animal, but you still want to quarantine. Like, what would you say?
I would say 30 days.
Okay.
So, but
I was going to say 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, for me, there's the 2-week period of you're not even handling or anything, right? And then the extra 2 weeks, I would say you start handling them in that quarantine.
But also, I'm sitting in like lizards, and lizards eat more frequently and poop more frequently than like a snake. So like 2 weeks is a lot more happens in 2 weeks for a lizard versus a snake who's only maybe eating once in those 100%.
That's
2 weeks.
Such a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Because when it comes to snakes, again, it completely depends on the size of the species. I would say if it's like a really big snake that you're only feeding every 3 to 4 weeks, I would probably keep that animal in quarantine for more like 60 to 90 days.
So you have multiple
feedings, multiple poops. So that I would say for species that you're feeding way less frequently, but if it's like a baby snake that you're feeding weekly and you get 4 meals and 4 poops in there, then I would say you're good with 30 days.
Yeah.
But again, you just want to make sure that the poops are healthy and that they're eating and they're not regurgitating or doing anything crazy like that.
And if you have time to get a fecal test done with your vet in that time period, like in your fecal test comes back clear, then like as long as they're eating, pooping, clear fecal, I don't think there's any reason to then quarantine them for longer.
But super important, if no matter what, even if you got from a reputable breeder, all of those things, if you did for some reason see a sign of poor health, or like say they have like one really bad poop, that starts your quarantine period. I don't care if you were on day 29, you start over at day 1 if they have a bad poop. That's how I view it.
I could see that. Yeah, because then you're like, you want to make sure that they're good to go prior to moving them.
Right. I would say like day 1 starts from a good poop, or starts from like getting their meal down.
No, I totally see that. My brain is wired differently because I keep exclusively lizards.
Exactly.
And even with my crested gecko, like he was on paper towels to start out with for a couple months with fake plants, and I added in live plants. Then you helped me out, put in like bioactive substrate and like put him in a bigger enclosure. It was like a very gradual thing. With chameleons, you can't really do that though. You can't give them a quote unquote sterile environment or just put them in a tub. Like that's not an option.
No.
And so it's a very tricky thing to quarantine a boreal species or reptiles that have to have coverage in lots of places to hide and can't do well in a smaller space. We're pretty limited. So like right now I still have Socks, my foster chameleon. He's in a separate room entirely from all my other chameleons and reptiles and stuff like that.
And that's good because you never know. I mean, even if you're getting from a reputable breeder, but also if you're getting from a rescue.
Right. I have zero history for what he has.
Yeah, you keep that
separate.
Going on. Yeah. That is separate for sure.
Yeah. So in those instances, we're still looking for the same thing. We're still looking for eating, pooping, but it's tricky because a new reptile may not eat right away, or they'll eat the first 2 days, and then not eat for like a week and a half, and you're like, but then like that's part of their acclimation period, right? So it's one of those things where you have to be more, I don't know, attuned to like what's going on.
And here's the thing also, like at the end of the day, it's your decision. You know, if you feel very confident that this animal is healthy and there's nothing wrong with it, and you've been observing it,
totally.
It can be 2 weeks, it can be 30 days, it can be 60 days, it can be 90 days. Whatever makes you comfortable is really what you should go by.
I feel like as long as they're eating and pooping, right?
Yes.
Those are the two big things, and they're acting normal, and you're confident this is a healthy animal. That is the whole point of quarantine, to answer the question, is this a healthy animal? And we're just trying to take out as many factors that could potentially be contributing to poor health, to make it as simple as possible, to be like, yep, there's something wrong with this animal. It's not because of their enclosure. It's not because of their environment. Right. It's something with this specific animal.
Damn, that was really well said.
Thank you.
That like really just like summed it all up right there. Yeah. That truly is like the sole purpose, is like ensuring that this animal is healthy enough to be moved into a more complex home, into a more complex enclosure, and B, healthy enough to potentially be in a room with any of your other reptiles.
Yep,
because guys, parasites are no joke. I have heard of and seen entire little reptile families wiped out from one batch of bad parasites, or one animal who had parasites.
Which is why we have to be thoughtful about where we're purchasing from, you know, making sure that we're vetting our breeders. Always. And like making sure they're doing their due diligence, and just go from there. Yeah.
If anybody, you know, is looking for, you know, examples of quarantine setups, I have posted examples of quarantine setups on my social media, so feel free to check that out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways you can do it. You kind of get in a groove and figure out what setup works best for you, but it takes some time, and you know, you got to be confident in your animal's health, but once you get there, you should be good.
Yeah, like I said, I've never actually formally quarantined any of my chameleons. For any of my chameleon listeners, because I know some of you guys are like, oh, I really want to get a chameleon. It's just one of those species that like does not
quarantine well.
No,
it's not easy to set up.
All I could think of would be like you do a paper towel bottom, you have your branches, and then you do like fake plants.
Right.
But then like that's a lot of space to try and get all that, and then you're gonna scrap all of that and basically rebuild out an entire enclosure for a species that doesn't do well with environmental changes. So you can do it. It's just not something that I've personally done, and I get fecal tests done. I go through good breeders and like try to do as much as I can.
I will say the quarantine process, at least in my experience, is the most common with like snakes, geckos, things like that, and some of just like the smaller species too. And
because it's easier. It's way easier.
So much easier.
And they're totally fine in a tub. Is that their forever setup? Absolutely not. No. But will they be fine for a couple weeks, a month or two, whatever, you know, they need to like be good? They'll be fine.
Exactly. And hopefully you should have their permanent enclosure all set up and ready afterwards.
And if it's bioactive, then you're giving them time, and your isopoculture is thriving, your plants are growing, so you're doing all of that in the meantime.
And just to throw this out there too, you can always do a quarantine setup. I mentioned this before with the overhead heating, with the UVB. Yeah. You can always do that. You can also use an old, you know, tank or an old enclosure if you have spare ones. I do that a lot, actually. I've done that before, but sometimes a tub is just easier. So use your best judgment, use what you think is best, but as long as you know that that animal is healthy and that you feel confident, that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
I think that sums that up, though.
I think so, too.
Yeah, let us know what your thoughts are on quarantine, if you've done it with your reptiles, and like what is your personal preference for how long you like to quarantine, because it is subjective.
It's so subjective. I mean, everybody has a different answer to that question, so we'd love to hear yours. So we did have a Q&A question that, given our current state of mind, is a little...
Is this the Grim Reaper question?
This is a Grim Reaper question.
Should I get my little, what is the little spike, the little blade, thing that the Grim Reaper carries? Yeah. All right, let's hear it.
The question is, and we have I believe it is Danny Heron who asked us this question.
Thank you, Danny.
Do you have a plan for your pets when you die?
Dun, dun, dun.
Super sad question.
But a very real question. And something that we have to be mindful and considerate of.
Yeah.
Because we've definitely heard of people who have passed away and we talked about the word collection, but that's going to be massive collections. Mm-hmm. And what do you do in that instance? Not a lot. Yeah. We talked about finding that dead Jacksons in that enclosure. It's because that person had passed away. Yes. And it was their nephew or someone who was taking care of all their animals and finding them new homes. Mm-hmm. So to answer the question very simply, my plan is you and my mom.
You're also an integral part of my plan as well.
That's it. Any of my guys, I know you would take Luna in a heartbeat. All day. You might have to fight my mom for Luna though, because
sorry, Mom.
She loves Luna too.
That is my girl.
But I know you would take Luna in a heartbeat. Yeah. My mom would happily take any of my chameleons, whoever you want, don't want. Obviously, space is a consideration when you have very large chameleon enclosures. And then I also have money set aside in my little will. Yeah, that's a Google Doc, but my little will,
super official.
I have please set aside X amount of money for whoever takes care of my chameleons. Great. All vet bills and whatever future needs, costs associated with keeping these animals for their lifetime, because I would never want my animals to be a financial burden for someone. Obviously, it's your time and space, and I'm so mindful of that. But I would never want one of my chameleons to have to go to the vet in their old age after I've passed, and then not be able to cover the vet bill.
That is not a part of my plan, but I am making a mental note, and it will be part of my plan now. That is very, very smart.
Here's how much I can estimate for the remaining lifespan. How much I think this animal would cost to take care of. And so whoever manages my finances after I pass, I'm please allot a chunk of money,
X dollars,
for whoever takes care of my reptiles. And if that also means that you guys find them homes, right? If you're hey, I'm maxed out, I don't have the space and time, and my mom's I can't either, and no one else in my family is interested, that's totally fine. But then I trust you guys would find them homes. And
for sure.
That's my plan.
That's the majority of my plan as well, because I know for an absolute fact that no one in my family, love you guys so much, would ever take a single one of my reptiles.
It happens.
I am the only reptile girly in my entire family, which I wear a badge of honor for.
My mom's had a crested gecko, and she watches all my videos, so I have full confidence that she would be able to take care of each and every one of mine.
We love your mom. We love your mom.
She also watches every single podcast episode, so
hi, Mom. The month of June for Pangea is all about lighting deals and gecko sales.
Now that's a dynamic duo. We talk on the podcast all the time how important it is to have a UVB source, heat source, and a plant LED light to help your plants thrive. So lucky for you, Pangea will be having sales on all different types of lighting.
And if you're in the market for a new gecko, you are in luck, because there will be all kinds of discounts throughout the month on tons of different crested gecko morphs like harlequins, tigers, brindles, and even gargoyle geckos.
So you can head on over to PangeaReptile.com to shop their sales for June.
But for me, my plan would I would basically put in my will, or to people legally, I would be she and my family need to work alongside the local reptile store to help find homes.
Would Logan take any of them, you think?
That's actually a really great question. Logan would definitely. I just said all of that as if I don't have a whole husband. No, because
would Logan take Nessie?
I think Logan maybe would take Nessie. He just, even though we live together, he still just hasn't been a huge part in learning how to care for all of them.
Now keep in mind, you have a distraught Logan who has lost his wife, right?
That's the real thing. He's an emotional kind of guy. I don't know if he...
But I could see it happening of this is a tie that I have.
That is so true.
To her, and she loved this, so I will take this on.
That is so Logan.
And yes. He would happily learn how to, it doesn't know now, but if he was hey, give me a crash course on African fat tail care, I could see it happening.
I could definitely see it happening. I think the two that he would keep would be, I think that he would keep Nessie and Charlie. because Nessie is the only one that he was there for the purchase of.
We talked about that one, which is why I know he's got a soft spot for her.
He has a soft spot for Nessie. And then I think also he just knows that I would be absolutely distraught if anybody else took Charlie, because Charlie doesn't know anyone else.
Right.
Charlie has never lived he's 15 years old and has only ever lived with me his entire life.
Right.
So like, I think that, and because African fat-tailed geckos and leopard geckos are
right,
similar.
That's what I'm saying. It could happen.
I could see Logan taking those two, and then if you wanted any, which I don't think you would, you could take any. And then, but then I would just want you and my family to like work with the local reptile store.
I would take your geckos for sure. Like I'd take Scooby, Pogue.
Yeah.
Nilla, I could totally see myself.
Nilla would be fun for you.
Kermit, I would totally take care of Kermit. Your snakes, though.
I know.
And Voldy.
I know. She's not a fan of Voldy. That's okay.
He's an aggressive eater, and cat gives me heebie-jeebies.
No, he gives me the heebie-jeebies too. That's half the reason I love him.
And they live forever. So
they do. They live for like 40 years.
So I'm like, me and Voldy till death. Till the end of time. Till my will.
Till the Grim Reaper comes for you.
I've inherited this legless lizard, and now you have to take it. No. So those would be the only ones. Is probably your snakes and Voldy would be the ones that I would be.
The one that would like probably the snake that would like break my heart to see go to like somebody that I don't know would be Tarzan and Hazel for sure. I mean, God, all of them.
No,
it's all heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's all heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I just simply know that nobody in my life would take Tarzan.
No, I don't. It's so outside my comfort zone. I could definitely like take care of them temporarily,
for
like
sure.
while finding them forever homes, a couple months. Happily will do that. Beyond that, nope. It'd be such minimal interaction. It'd be like, I will keep you alive. I will keep you fed. I will keep you watered.
But
I will keep you clean.
No personal interaction.
None. Zero.
Which is why I say we have really great relationships with one of the local reptile stores. And I know for a fact, like we know one of the owners pretty well. Like I know for a fact that they would either take them in themselves or one of the employees would take some of them. Yeah. Because I do know.
Also, the internet, right? Like,
for sure.
We'll happily, open it up and then like can use them to help vet people like who's legit and like equipped to,
totally
take them on. But
that's our plan.
Each other
and the internet.
Yeah. And extended family members.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the plan. But in all honesty, everybody needs to have somewhat of a plan. Like our plan is obviously very loose, but
and we're very realistic. Not everyone has a reptile bestie. No. Like we are so understanding of that, or people who have parents or family members or significant others who are understanding, and like I'm incredibly blessed and lucky to have both you and my mom. Like. Not everyone is like that.
We know that not everybody has this situation.
No, so if you can like reach out to your rescues, or if you have an internet reptile friend, then you can like maybe let your family members know about. I know it's morbid, but like this is life, and we can't plan it as much as we want to.
You never know.
Last thing you want is to, I'm gonna use the word burden, but burden your family with your animals, or if they get neglected unintentionally in the meantime, because like if your family doesn't care about your animals straight up and they're dealing with your loss and like your funeral and your stuff, like
your animals will get neglected.
They're gonna be a lower priority, and like not that it's our responsibility from the grave, but like I think if we can do something ahead of time,
for sure,
be smart.
Why not? Just make those connections, tell your family members,
Yeah, or maybe like your vet or something. Maybe your vet could get you connected. A local, Facebook reptile group or something.
Absolutely.
Like, I know it's a weird topic, but it's life.
It's a hard one. It's a weird one, but thank you for asking.
Yes.
That was a good one. So up next, we have a very fun Smash or Pass segment that I'm super excited about. So I don't know about you guys, but there are some very attractive animated Disney characters.
This is a weird one. So we were racking our brain on like a Smash or Pass topic. I go to TikTok. I type Smash or Pass. What's the first thing that pops up? Smash
Disney
or Pass male Disney characters. And I'm like, done deal. And she was all over it. So I was
so excited.
I was like, let's do it. So we've compiled the list. Male Disney characters, no discrimination. Nope. Anyone is fair game. Very simply, Smash or Pass.
Let's do it. All right. The very first one, Hercules.
Smash.
For sure, Smash. I mean, The muscles.
Smash. And the little curly cute hair.
The muscles. Yes.
Swooping in, damsel in distress to save Meg. Like,
agreed. But I gotta admit, I know we're doing male Disney characters. Meg though, Meg was a babe.
Point taken.
Babe.
I will say, I always was a little weirded out by like Hercules' calves.
Yes.
Like, they were like abnormally large.
Insane calves. Like scary calves. Like those calves would like crush my head.
Yeah. Also, I sing Hercules soundtrack at least like once a month in my head.
Oh, so. It's a solid soundtrack. Okay,
next.
So next, this one's kind of obscure, but David from Lilo and Stitch.
Smash.
Big smash. He's a little bit of a side character, but a very cute side character.
But like he swoops in and like he really saves the day, and like she's the overwhelmed older sister, and he's so understanding, and like
he's just taking care of her.
Just such a good guy.
He's a good dude. We love a good dude.
And like takes Lilo serve. They're also coming out with a live action Lilo Stitch. I'm so excited.
That's gonna be fabulous. I can't wait for that.
Also a live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Speaking of,
was that literally the next one?
Yes.
Literally the next one?
I mean, no, I'm lying, but yes. Speaking of,
I knew he was on the list, but okay, we can talk about this.
Speaking of, Hiccup, which is the weirdest name ever.
Okay, here's my thoughts. Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon 1, pass.
Yeah, me too.
Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon 3, smash.
Wait, I don't think I've seen the third one.
What?
No.
We talked about this, and then I was like, and then it's the cute little babies, and you're like, oh, I haven't seen it. I was like, you should go see it.
I still haven't seen it.
Okay, well, just imagine Hiccup, like, grown up, like, and he's now
manly and buff.
He's now like in charge of the village. Cute. And he's like wifed up, with the blonde chick. And so he's like grown into manly Hiccup.
Yeah, okay. Smash older Hiccup.
Pass. Baby Hiccup.
Yeah, no, not a fan.
Look him up after this.
Yeah, he's very cute. I will. Okay, so next one is a classic, Aladdin.
Yeah, I want to say smash. But I have hesitation, and I haven't been able to articulate what the hesitation is.
Oh, well, I'm a street rat kind of girl. Absolutely. Smash.
Maybe it's the poofy pants.
The poofy pants were like
But the vest is cute.
The vest is so cute, and it shows off his abs.
That's true. Okay, now I'm imagining the carpet scene and the whole new world.
It's all sexy.
And now Jafar's in my head, and so now I'm having conflicting thoughts on Jafar and Aladdin.
Jafar is
now
the
parrot's in my head, and I'm like, the parrot was kind of cute too. But
Jasmine was also one of like the sassiest princesses, which big fan. Big fan.
Yeah, okay, I'll smash.
You can't not smash Aladdin. Come on. I was about to be so disappointed in you.
No, I'm good. Okay. I caught up.
This one is a little bit of like a heart melter for me. Jim Hawkins from Treasure Planet.
Oh, he's like the space skater boy.
Hell yes, he is. And that is why I was in love with him from a very young age.
Little hoverboard thing.
Yes, he was so hot on the hoverboard. He was so hot on the hoverboard.
Oh, and he's got like this swoopy hair and the little like rat tail braid thing.
The rat tail braid thing.
And then he's got like a great relationship with his mom.
Relationship with his mom. So
you're like A+ there, right? Oh, and then he's like a hard worker because they like put him to work, and he's like mopping the deck, and
he's all adventurous.
Yeah,
he's got all these dreams and aspirations.
Hot
smash, hard smash. Okay, this one's kind of funny. Buzz Lightyear.
Okay, I feel like you're either like a Buzz girl or you're a Woody girl.
I am a hard neither.
Neither.
To
infinity and beyond.
I think they're both losers. We've also discussed I don't even like Toy Story.
Oh, what about Zurg? You remember?
That just unlocked a like childhood memory. Oh my God, that was crazy. Wow.
Like a little bad boy action?
He was funny. I clearly like the bad boy animated characters, that's for certain.
But he's also like the villain, and you're kind of like a villain girly. So
I'm for sure a villain girly. I haven't even told you this. I need to go find it. Logan and I went to Target recently, and I found a graphic tee from Target that was all the Disney villains.
Why are you not wearing that?
I honestly, I don't know. I brought it home from Target, and I haven't seen it since, so I have no idea where it is.
Next week, coming to you.
I will.
A cute villain.
I promise.
Graphic tee.
I'll wear it next week for sure.
Yeah.
It's so freaking cute.
I don't know. I feel like it's weird to smash a toy, but
I just literally don't find either of them attractive.
It's like
it's a mood. It's a vibe.
But like the character of Buzz Lightyear is just so endearing.
That's fair.
But physically, I'm more of like a woody girl.
Also, like we don't
I
even
like
know.
I'm tall and lanky, so
I do as well. Logan is very tall and very lanky, so I feel that.
But the Buzz Lightyear character, so. But if it's not a hell yes, it's a no, so I'm gonna pass.
That's fair. This is very fair. Okay, we've got another good one. Another big guy. We got Mr. Incredible.
I just said like I'm tall and lanky,
and he's not lanky, but he's a thick man.
Sorry, Mr. Incredible.
I'm also a pass.
I'm more of a Frozone.
Yes.
He's hot.
Frozone was hot. He was also just hilarious. Big fan of Frozone. That's a good call. Good call. Okay, this one's a classic. Prince Eric.
I'm like not like
really?
No.
Oh,
pass.
I'm a smash. I'm a smash for sure.
No,
but
he didn't do anything.
I also think that Prince Eric was pretty stupid for falling for Ursula. So
I just like he's just kind of like an airhead in the movie.
That's so true. He has little to no
like his character, like oomph.
He didn't have any character development whatsoever. No, that's a great point.
He's just got good hair.
I'll still pass or still smash because of the hair.
Yeah, it's a pass for me. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm passing. I'm smashing on hair alone. That's okay. All right. So then this one's I already know this answer. This is Flynn Rider from Tangled.
Smash.
Hard smash. Hard smash.
But which nose of Flynn Rider?
We don't even need to like explain that one.
So there was actually like a little behind the scenes of the character development of Flynn Rider, where they sat down a bunch of women and like asked what the characteristics of like an attractive guy were, and they took those characteristics to develop Flynn Rider and pitched them multiple versions of Flynn Rider to get literal feedback from women on which version of Flynn Rider is the most attractive.
So Flynn Rider is literally the epitome of what women find attractive.
Molded and sculpted based off of direct feedback from women.
That's freaking,
to be hot.
That's freaking cool. I love that.
Fun fact.
I love that. Okay, that's okay. This one is super fun, and I actually don't know what your answer is on this one, but I immediately know mine. Gil from Finding Nemo.
To be clear, it's the angelfish, the one with the little scar.
The one with the scar, with the really hot bad boy scar.
Oh my gosh.
He's a hard smash for me.
You're lucky you're married.
Yes.
Calm down over here. Pour some water on you. No, I know, I get what you're saying. And like, again, it's the character, right? Because he helps the underdog.
Yes.
He's an underdog himself. You're like rooting for him. Yes. He's got this kind of like spooky mystery kind of like vibe for him. He's got the scar.
He's got the like the tough backstory. Mm-hmm. Like if he were not in fish form, you can't tell me that he wouldn't be so hot.
I get what you're saying, but because my brain cannot picture him not in fish form, it's a pass for me. And now I'm trying to think if there's any Finding Nemo character that I'm like, ooh, that's my type. And it's just the bird that pops into my head, the pelican. Just like, not the seagulls that are like, mine. I'm talking the pelican that like swoops down.
Yes,
but he's Nigel. Oh, yeah. Is that his name?
Maybe. My brain immediately went to Nigel Thornberry.
I think his name's Nigel. Anyways, but he's just like, again, character. Because he's just like a good guy.
Solid guy.
No, I'm a pass on Gil. What's your answer?
The hard smash. Fish form or not, I don't care. He's a hot bad boy and I'm here for it.
I see your thought process, though. I see where you're coming from.
I appreciate that. Okay, this one is also classic. We've got Tarzan.
Smash.
Hard smash.
I had such a huge crush. Now, here's the thing.
Me too.
I can't do long hair on guys. As like a general rule. It just like...
Oh, I love long hair on guys.
If, for example, Thor... not hot in the movies until Thor Ragnarok when he cuts his hair, and I'm like, here for it. So it's just
hard
like
disagree.
It's just a personal thing. I just long hair on guys, not my type. But Tarzan, I will make the exception for.
Oh no, I'm hard smash, long hair all day. I had an ex with really long hair, and I was super into it. No. So big long hair girl.
This is a little tangent. One of my pet peeves with dating profiles is guys who have short hair in one picture, long hair in the other picture, facial hair in one picture, and then not. I'm like, which one is it?
What is it?
Because one of you I like, and one of you I don't like. So
I need to know what your current facial and hair status is.
If you want to throw some older pictures, I think that's totally fine. Yeah. Especially if you're like doing cool stuff.
For sure.
But just give me like a this is me today, so I know what we're
circa 2020 or like whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's completely fair. Completely valid.
Okay. Tarzan, though, smash.
We only have 2 left. And these 2 are pretty good. So we have Captain Li Shang from Mulan.
Smash.
Smash. For sure. There's no doubt. No explanation there.
No doubt.
Yeah. He's hot. He's the man in charge.
I'll make an exception.
But it's tucked up. It's like
I know, but I know it's there. And like man buns, just like, don't do it for me.
Man buns can be great if done well.
No. You're on your own with that.
It has to be done well.
Only time it's done well is with Captain Li Shang.
Hard disagree, but it's fine. It's fine. We're just going to disagree on a lot of things. The good thing is, even if I was single, we would never compete for a man.
It's true.
Very different types.
It's true.
Very different types.
None of my friends have the same type as me, and it's the best thing ever. Because I'm like, he's all yours. He's your type.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, he's yours. I'm like, love it. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, so this next one.
This was my idea.
Cobra Bubbles. So if anybody doesn't know who Cobra Bubbles is the FBI guy in Lilo and Stitch.
From Lilo and Stitch, who's got the glasses.
Honestly, he's kind of a badass.
For sure. Now, he's bald. That we've gone the opposite. No hair.
Now, here's my thing when it comes to baldness. You can be bald and incredibly confident and still be super hot.
It's the confidence, absolutely.
What makes a bald guy unattractive is if he's insecure about it. Which
is true of anything, though.
Anything.
Right? Like
anything.
Height, weight, hair, whatever. Like
it doesn't matter. If you're confident in who you are and you are very clear that you do not care that you're bald or that you have, whatever the case may be, like your height, all that. It doesn't matter.
Hot.
If you rock it, you rock it, period. So Mr. Bubbles, smash.
Mr. Bubbles, pass.
Oh, I think he's a badass.
I want to be best friends with him.
Yeah, that too. That's fair.
I wouldn't date him, but I would want to be best friends.
That's actually probably more correctly my answer.
Again, tall, lanky.
Yeah.
Or muscly. Right? We need the Hercules, the Tarzans. Mm-hmm. That's just, it's my sweet spot. And I blame Disney for this exact reason because that's all the
I'll just be in my corner with Gil and Jem Hawkins.
No, I like Jim. He's not like a muscle guy though, but the character is just so good.
The character is so good. He is also I'm sorry, this is really unhinged. I'm really out of it, guys. When I was in like middle school, I used to doodle cute animated boys in like an old journal of mine. Okay. I've always been
see where this is going.
I've always been a doodler. Like I just would always like doodle characters and things.
But it was not cute.
So I would do like cute animated characters. Mm-hmm. I would like doodle that stuff. And Jem Hawkins looks like almost every doodle that I ever did in middle school.
Oh, so that's funny. Like, I'm just thinking if Logan has any resemblance of like...
No.
And I don't see it. Because sometimes, you've seen those trends where it's like my childhood crush and then like my current partner or whatever, right? And it's like eerily similar to like their crush versus who they ended up with.
And you know what? That's actually probably pretty true for me and Logan. Because when I was in like middle school and high school, I used to like really like blondes. And then, like, every guy I dated after that either had, like, really dark hair or was brunette or whatever. And then I ended up with a blonde.
Deep down.
Yeah, deep down, that childhood preference really stuck.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think this was hilarious. And I just hope you guys enjoyed this so much. And you better play along. And you better decide who you're smashing and passing with Disney male characters. And there's got to be a couple we forgot. So let us know who you would want to include. Who'd you smash?
Please do. Yeah.
All in good fun. I think this was enjoyable and just like it was kind of funny.
I think it was pretty great.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it's kind of like a little bit all over the place, but also I feel like we did a good job of like staying on topic and like
we're good at this.
We provided value, entertainment, education. What more could you want out of a podcast?
You gotta love it. Come on.
Also, by the time that we're filming this, we're getting very close to 1,000 subs.
We are. We're really excited.
We're getting there.
We're so close.
Yes. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button.
Smash that button.
I hate when YouTubers say that.
I do too, but we're going to do it. Smash that subscribe button.
Once we hit 1,000, then we'll... We'll chill. We'll chill on the subscribe thing. Yeah. But thank you guys so much for all of your support. Be sure to leave a review. So Spotify has taken away the option to do voice messages. So feel free to DM us a voice message and we will include it on the podcast. Yes. That's on Instagram. But you can follow me at Neptune the Chameleon.
Lyssa Lizards.
And we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye, girlies.